But you are giving your loyal servants a goat to be served as a lunch for 560 guests. It takes Christ in Galilee to multiply the fish. It will take Christ to multiply the fish so that all those who needed something will go with full stomachs. We are now doing budgeting. I want you, honorable members, to look at this report very carefully and go back before we harmonize and look at critical areas. The critical areas, for example, if you look at the areas where we have asked for 66 billion, and then you give us 23. But if we are given 23, what also happens sometimes, and in most cases, this is what happens. There will be cuts. And even after the cutting, then the release is of that, what is cut is not even coming. So that's why I wanted, Honorable, the good thing my brother is here. And I hear you, my friends, talk about UNRA roads. Let me make it abundantly clear to you. UNRA has never done any tarmac. What UNRA was doing was to procure the people who were doing the roads. It has never done any tarmac. What is also true is that by the time we took over UNRA had a debt, an obligation to meet financial of 1.3 trillion. 1.2 trillion, 3 trillion, owed to contractors. That's why you see now across the country, all the roads that the contractors were supposed to be doing are in a fairly sorry state. But I want to thank this parliament.
But Honourable Minister, you know, that statement you've made about UNRA is a very unfortunate statement, because it would go on record as if we were appropriating money and all for nothing. Okay? UNRA did some work, even procurement and management, including managing these debts. That's why you see, when UNRA was working, the contractors were not off the roads. When you took over, they ran off. No, I want to put it to you clearly. We were seeing them. So managing the portfolio. So we supported you on merger. Okay? We supported you. Please take over from UNRA. Don't bring the ghosts of UNRA here. Because it's belittling Ugandans who put in a lot of effort. Those UNRA engineers, Honorable Minister, were suffering with you, and it was you praising them. Now you're just saying they were only doing procurement. They did a great job. Okay? So yeah, I think put it on record. We don't look like UNRA did nothing through that period.
Sir, I am saying, and I will repeat this for the record, UNRA as an agency did not tarmac any road as an in-house. That is a fact, sir. What UNRA did, and what UNRA did and what we are following to do, first is to make sure that we as a ministry develop in-house capacity to tarmac some roads. This is what Namibia does. We should develop in-house capacity to tarmac some roads. We
are going into uncharted waters.
Yeah. So let's
not go into issues of ghosts. Okay.
So, sir, I must say this. So, what has happened? We came to this house. Requested for supplementary. And that supplementary, this house has been very supportive. You passed the supplementary. We have 450 billion. That is meant to take care of these contractors. What we expected was bigger than that. But what we are going to do, and what is being done technically, honorable colleagues, is to make sure that these contractors are enabled in the next few days to recover some of the equipment, because the banks had grabbed them, to recover a number of, so that they can go back to the roads. And our hope is that the contractors will go back. Let me just give an example of Metiana Mubende without going through all the details, because I've captured here Right Honorable, I've captured here 178 requests. But let me just talk about Mitiana Mubende. Mitiana Mubende is government of Uganda funded. And the contractor is Enago. Enago has not been paid to a tune of about 60 billion by we because of lack of resource. So for that reason, Enago was taken to court by the suppliers of fuel and also the bankers the money. So Enago had to fold up, awaiting us to release the money. I am happy to report to you, honorable colleagues, that with the resources that have been released in the supplementary, we hope to send resources to Enago in the next few days. Enago will be back on that road because it's a critical link to this country. It's a very, very critical link to this country. So for us to come here, honorable members, and imagine that there is a deliberate effort sometimes to ignore you. I must say that's not correct. Let me say something about the community access roads. This one's under Duka. Members, while it is true that the roads that are very important are the highways that are applied by these trailers and that will really bring a lot of taxes to the country, to all of us here, the most critical roads are the crossings from this swamp to that health center, from this swamp to that market. And by last financial, by the financial year we are concluding, it received zero release. Now, when it received the zero release, it received the zero release, Mr. Speaker, when we had identified the contractors to do all those community access roads. The good news now, I have had a discussion with these colleagues of finance. In the supplementary, some resources have been put so that we can be able to activate those that we are committed, so that you, honorable colleagues, will have something to explain to the people. It is delayed, all right, but it has come.
And when is it?
So that is what happens. So finally, let me say this, Mr. Speaker, and I want to emphasize this to you, honorable colleagues. From 1,000 kilometers that we inherited to now about 7,000, the trajectory is good. The most important thing that I need this honorable house to do is to pass these resources, and before we harmonize and pass, we want 3/4 of the resources that come to the ministry to go for maintenance of what we have achieved. Let it go for maintenance. We may delay on the new projects, but let's not allow the old ones to collapse. And this we are going to put our feet down and make sure that that happens. We will delay. But the good news also, this one I can now leak, now that my colleagues are here. The head of state of this country, as he goes around to check on the PDM projects, everywhere he has reached, in his own words, he has been accosted by the population about the poor state of the roads. He has come back and said, I have identified some people who can support us financially to do a good many more roads. And he has requested my humble office to work with this office to suggest the critical commitments that we have always made and continue to appear and disappear so that we can make these roads. And this we are going to do. As a government, we are going to do it. I can assure you, we are going to do it. We are around. We are not about to go away. And we are going to do our roads. Mr. Speaker, we shall do the roads.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable colleagues, now I put the question that the report of the Committee on Physical Infrastructure on the Ministerial Policy Statements and Budget Estimates for Financial 2025-2026 be adopted. Those in favor say aye, and to the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, the recommendations are referred to the Committee on Budget for harmonization synchronization and consolidation. Honorable colleague,